Hello, my name is Sachin Cheda, and I'm part of the Strategic Partnership Organization here at Nutanix. I run the service provider and system integrator business. I have the pleasure of talking to Bill Kohler and Ben Green from DXC today, so hope you enjoy this conversation. Bill, Ben, welcome. Can you introduce yourself for the audience?
Yeah, thank you, Sachin. This is Bill Kohler. I'm part of our Strategic Alliances team at DXC. Very proud to be here today. DXC is a gold sponsor, .next 2025. It's been a great week hearing the announcements, seeing the momentum, seeing the enthusiasm with over 5,000 attendees, customers, partners, lots of announcements. It's been a great week, so we appreciate the partnership with Nutanix and letting us come on today.
Yeah, and also Sachin, I just want to say thank you for having us on today. It's a pleasure. My name's Ben Green. I lead one of the offering teams within DXC, built around building private and hybrid cloud solutions for our clients.
Oh, fantastic. Now, DXC is a gold sponsor here. Thank you again for being part of our show here. But can you walk through what does DXC do for their clients? You guys have a very rich history of helping clients with their business and IT solutions.
So DXC, for those that don't know, we're a global systems integrator. We operate in 70 countries worldwide. We have over 6,000 clients, and we operate some of the most critical, some of the most complicated technology environments in the world for our clients. So when you look at DXC, kind of following that trend, our clients typically have a couple characteristics. One is the applications that they're bringing to bear are highly critical, which means that downtime, there's a high penalty for failure. That downtime could equal loss of revenue, it could equal loss of safety, loss of life, loss of data, right? So typically those are clients that we tend to circle around. Additionally, clients that have a lot of complexity within their environment. Complexity comes in lots of different forms. And then ultimately we see a big convergence of the two, where highly critical plus highly complex. So that's where we tend to shine. We do really well in highly regulated industries. Think finance, think insurance, think banking, think travel and transportation, but those characteristics flow down market as well. So there's not one size client we service, it just tends to be highly critical and complex stuff that we do.
Yeah, and I'd add in, I think the thing that we see in those problems, those solutions, the things we're solving for customers, is a rich ecosystem of partners. Nutanix being one of those that we want to bring to bear to help solve those problems for customers. Nutanix does it very, very well, and we work well with Nutanix to help solve those.
Fantastic. Now, you said, right, there's a lot of these trends and problems out there, and you guys are talking to clients pretty much every day. Matter of fact, in some cases, you are part of the client's organization covering the IT. What are some of the trends that you're seeing there in the market? Are there trends that you want to point out and highlight that folks should be aware of?
Sure, so just as you said, we continually work with our clients to understand where their needs are, forecasting, from present day well into the future. We also work with the analyst community really closely to identify what are some common trends that we see and we should be preparing for. As an organization, we've mapped out about 9 different trends for this year, where the intersection point is, I think for this conference and with Nutanix, tends to revolve in the data center, specifically around 2 key areas, right? Data and AI platforms, right? You can't go anywhere in the tech world, any hallway here without talking about AI, but ultimately I think the change that we're seeing this year is the folks in the boardroom are starting to actually build real initiatives around AI and aligning budget with real goals in mind, whether that's increasing productivity, it's lowering costs, but ultimately goals that affect the P&L. So those initiatives are starting to roll down to IT teams, starting to roll down production applications, and folks are, there's an evolution happening right now, but folks are really looking for assistance in how to do this right.
Yeah.
The other key trend that we're seeing is really a continuation of the past decade or so, is there's just a continuation of transformation in the cloud and the hybrid cloud space, right? I think one of your folks in the kickoff yesterday mentioned, AWS is looking at migrating another 80,000 VMs this year to the public cloud. Something like 75% of client spend is still located in the data center. So there's still a lot of work to do for clients in terms of finding the right place for their workloads. And that's an area, of course, that we have a lot of heritage and expertise.
Yeah. And I know DXC, you guys are the experts when it comes to this concept of where does an application run, right? Being smart about it versus just deciding this has been here or has to move, and therefore that is the trend on that front. So the concept of hybrid multi-cloud is very critical or very central to our collaboration there. Bill and Ben, so how are our clients benefiting from our relationship, the DXC Nutanix relationship? What are some of the things that you guys deliver to your clients powered by Nutanix?
Sure thing. So to kind of piggyback on what you said at the beginning there, I think we align incredibly well with Nutanix, especially when we talk about hybrid cloud. I love the mantra of the conference is run apps anywhere, right? And that's really the challenge that I think a lot of our clients face is how do I operate in a hybrid, multi-modal environment? And I think Nutanix is starting to make that a lot easier with some of the product releases. I think your focus and dedication to a solid UI, to a seamless upgrade and management experience, where we partner really well together is we execute really on the planning, the transformation, and the operation of these hybrid AI strategies. So, Bill, I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, I think a couple other points I'd make, and it's a great question, Sachin, but when we want to look at where customers are in their digital journey, if you will, you mentioned hybrid, but we think about hybrid, it could be hybrid on-prem, it could be hybrid public cloud, it could be public cloud, private cloud. There's many variables we get into. So what we want to come into that is to say, we want to help do an assessment. Where is the right place for your environment, for your application to run? And we'll help assess that. We can help transform that, and we can help manage that. We have a migration team that does this every single day. We've migrated many applications. But it's not just a simple migration of choosing one spot and being done, it's assessing to where that is. So those are the things we can help with. I think the other piece that you touched on around AI, what we do on the AI is similar. And one of the conversations that was talked about at the conference here was within an AI where companies are struggling, right? Some are doing it well, but not all. It's kind of a threefold approach here. Is the first, the companies are struggling with a cold start. Where do they start? And the second thing they're struggling with is the privacy aspects of AI. I want to protect my IP. Where does my data go? I may have data sovereignty issues. I also may not want my data in the public sphere. I want an LLM based on my data, and I don't want my competitor to get that data. And then the third is I want a solution, not a bucket of parts. So when we think about, like we talked about on the cloud transformation, the AI transformation journey as well, we'll come in and we will help organizations understand where to start, but you don't just start, you have to know where you're going to finish. So we will help define what that endpoint looks like, and we will build the solution back with our teams that can do assess, we can do transform, we can do manage, we have the security, the rich heritage around all of those points of the company. We believe we're uniquely positioned to work on that track. Nutanix, with your platform and your offering and your strong partnership across the AI ecosystem, we come together very nicely to help deliver a solution for customers.
Indeed, indeed. So one thing I guess I'm going to take away from your answer is it's a very outcome-centric approach there, where you're looking at what the client wants, what do they want to accomplish, and then work through that with the ecosystem of partners, including Nutanix as part of our exercise. And I'm imagining that you also take on the whole challenge of solving the customer's IT solutions with a managed practice as well, right? So powered by Nutanix in that sense.
Yeah, I think today, we do that, right? So we are a managed services provider for customers. We run customers' environments. That includes their Nutanix environment. So we are a managed service provider that can come in and manage your Nutanix infrastructure. Largely that's probably going to be honest, a hybrid environment. But we can come in and manage it, and that's where our teams can deliver those on what that environment is.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I would just follow up. I think what you said was absolutely correct. It's not a pile of parts, it's a solution. It's an outcome focused to our clients, and ultimately, I think like a lot of service providers out there, we really strive to meet our clients where they are, right? So whether that's a quasi-managed environment to a end-to-end fully managed solution, we tailor to fit what the client needs based on that.
Perfect, perfect. Now, I know you talk to a lot of clients on a daily basis. We spoke a little bit about that here. What advice would you give an IT practitioner and an IT executive as a part of this whole trend of data, AI, hybrid multi-cloud, et cetera?
Yeah, I think change is scary, right? It's not new. You know, the technology world, every 5 years, there's a reinvention of the space, right? So, you know, again, going back to AI, I think, you know, if you're an IT infrastructure engineer right now, you're getting these requirements from the business. This is all new and none of it's backward compatible, right? And it's hard at the data center layer, it's hard at the hardware layer, it's hard at the management layer, even at the network layer, there's new requirements for lossless high-speed networking. So, you know, I think a lot of folks have a hard time figuring out where to start. Right?
Yeah.
The good news is us as an organization, again, we've been in some of the biggest, most complex environments in the world. This is not new to us, right? So this is an area where we have tremendous expertise, and I would say any initiative is going to fail if you don't have a clear blueprint of what you're trying to solve for, and, you know, measurable outcomes and milestones along the way to get there. So we always try to start with that top-down approach of what are we solving for. And as we talked about earlier, we have transformation teams, we have operation teams that can take over these environments, but we really like to align on goal setting with the client before we get into those things.
And I think the other thing too, like, you know, Ben said, you know, with DXC, let us come in and work together to help solve your biggest most difficult challenges.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to excel. We have a rich heritage, as you stated, in delivering results for customers, and that's what we want to do.
Okay, great. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Washington, D.C., and again, we want to thank you for being here. Appreciate all that you do with us and all that you do for your clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin.
Yeah, thank you, Sachin. It's great to be here.